Good morning, everybody. Welcome back again to another Mindset Mastermind, our daily time together to get a little motivation, inspiration, a whole lot of information to get us focused on a day of perspiration, doing the actual hard work of our businesses. That being said, we are just really diving into inner excellence. Jim Murphy, this content on mindset and how to train your mind for extraordinary performance. We are diving in now to chapter 4, the 3 pillars of extraordinary performance. And yet there's still a lot of stuff from chapters 2, 3, 1 hanging out there. And as always, the room is your guys. So I'll be here to facilitate. And yet I'm looking at the attendee list for hot mics, ready to chat. And Carrie, is that a hangover hot mic or ready to chat mic?
So I was just reading, I just was reading 58 and 59 because this was a really long chapter. So
we'll probably spend 2 days in it, just so you know. And what do you have?
Well, I found all this very interesting about being embarrassed. That was, and being, unirritable and all those things.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so much to talk about it. How do you, right? I guess like I can relate to these things, but what was the action that I was taking between caring about what everybody thought about what I said and etc. to now like not barely ever caring. Like I always wonder what was the what did I do to get to that point? Like I understand what I'm reading, but still if I was to how to verbalize that to somebody if they were to ask me.
So let's dive just to really cover this, because this is talking about self-mastery and mastery of the ego. And first thing on going through these, I want to talk about the ego on these, because embarrassment, that is you worried about how you look. It's all ego. Offended, gosh, that's all worried about, again, you being right and even looking good or feeling good and not taking somebody else. And then irritated, man, that one came up yesterday in a number of conversations where people were irritated about what other people chose to do or things that are totally out of the control, yet the ego wants control of everything. So imagine for a moment that you chose, and by the way, these are all choices, Carrie.
Right? Like I was thinking, so am I just getting embarrassed over and over and over and over again that I just at some point didn't care anymore? Like,
well, no, you choose though in that moment to be embarrassed. It's still a choice. Again, for everybody, why you don't think it's a choice is because it's currently your normal pattern. So your normal pattern is not to be unembarrassed. Your normal pattern is not to be unoffendable. Your normal pattern is not to be irritable. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And yet you can choose in the moment when it shows up, Carrie, I feel embarrassed. Wait, let's catch this. I know this isn't serving me. How am I going to reframe this? What is the conversation I'm having internally where, you know what? I am who I am. This is who God created me to be. Why the heck should I be embarrassed? My personal favorite, unoffendable, because over the last decade, there have been so much about being offended, or the other part of I've been disrespected.
Right.
No one can offend me. No one can disrespect me. That's on them. I'm not going to take it in. And you have that same opportunity to live in that space. And again, it's not that you don't care. It's actually that you care more about them than yourself.
Yeah, because
I wish they didn't feel that way. I wish they didn't behave that way. How can I help them change their way? See, all of these, again, are about you and the irritated. Being steady, steadfast, calm, compassionate, fully present, and acknowledging that, things are going to happen. In those situations where things are happening and it's irritating you, maybe it's because you haven't done enough to have enough going on, that this one little piece over here going sideways is your whole world.
Yeah.
And I just want to challenge you guys on that as well, to keep leaning in, doing the work, showing up, and playing with me. Tom, you're up, brother.
Good morning.
Good morning, sunshine.
I appreciate that. So early in the book, there's the quote from Winston Churchill, who said, "Those who are destined for greatness must walk alone in the desert." And I think, Carrie, I'm with you in the feeling that desert is getting used to these different opportunities. There's all kinds of great quotes in here, and it's kind of funny. I think I should highlight the things that did not stick out to me versus what did stick out. But even at the very beginning of chapter 4, love is the triumph of imagination over intelligence. That was really good. And then we had heard earlier, and I think also in the Ninja selling book about competition, genuine competition on page 54 isn't an event to see if you can beat your opponent or to see who is better, but an event in which people who love the same thing get to experience how well they can push each other, which is what we're doing, to develop self-mastery by learning and growing in love, freedom, which is freedom, wisdom, which is your belief, and courage, which is your focus. Like I said, I could just go through and highlight everything that you can't see it because it's yellow. But there's just so much in this book that it's just amazing, and so much stood out to me. So I was glad to have pages where I didn't highlight a paragraph.
That is so heavy.
Yeah.
Oh,
And thanks
I'm
for bringing in
okay,
these three key components here, these three crucial characteristics to master any performance: that belief, focus, and freedom. I mean, many folks that are struggling right now, all three of those are missing. I don't believe I can do it. I've got all this experience that shows me that I'm not doing. It's not working. I'm going to get out of this damn business.
And as I read through all of these things, I either saw myself or people that I am mentoring, or that on the other spectrum, people that are so locked in that I just admire them for how clearly they think and how unaffected they appear, but I believe they are.
So going on to step 2, the focus. As I talk to all of you, the focus on conversations all day, every day. I mean, I'm in the process of writing right now some of my history down and documenting. And I went from a brand new agent in a brand new city, Austin, Texas, where I didn't know a soul, to 25 listings in 90 days with belief that it can be done. I knew the models, and laser focus on following the models of having conversations all day, every day, without being married to the outcome. It was just heads down, 5-6 days a week, 8-10 hours a day, talking to people. And it turned into 25 listings in 90 days. And finally, freedom. Man, that's love. That's loving everybody. That's acknowledging that you are free. You're free to do the work, and you're free not to do the work. You're free to believe, and you're free not to believe. And as long as you lead with your heart and with love, magic's going to happen. Sarah, you were next up, my dear. Your mic isn't playing nice, Sarah. So you might have to log out, log back in, test it once if you want. All right, so do a log out, log in. Jeanette, you're up.
I am. I'm appreciating the BFF, Best Friends Forever. I haven't heard an acronym, or I haven't heard this before. Belief separates the best from the rest. Focus is your ability to have heightened awareness in the present moment, and freedom is your ability to hold or to be bold and take risks and hold nothing back. You know, you're having us to write. I am so full of gratitude. I also think that I also realize I need to write. I believe I can. I believe we shall. And I also want to come down to the genuine competition, in which people who love the same thing get to experience how well they can push each other. You have talked about you and Aaron, uh, and how you have how you would both go after the same listing, and one would get it and the other one wouldn't. But then you'd sit and you'd talk about it afterwards and you'd make each other better. And these words, this gave me a new understanding of how to do that, of a mindset to do that. How, it's what we're trying to do in here. But, you know, how many of us still have some little guard up? We don't want it, and you don't even realize it's there until suddenly you realize it's there. And just being able to talk to people with a freedom. And so we're actually here to help each other be better. We're actually here to do that. And this is that, to help it. So you can seem to beat each other up and then go, hey, how did you do that? Why did you do that? Okay. And whether it's the mindset or whatever it is, it gets to be a place of a place of safety as well as a place of growth. And I appreciate that is what's here.
As well as a place of fun. Who you were talking about was me and Gene Arant. For those of you
Oh,
in the
yeah.
Austin area,
Right.
know Gene. And we would both compete on expireds, and we were both using the same scripts and the same objection handlers. We helped each other get better. So, one of the objection handlers was, if you had more appointments, you want to list with me, but you have other appointments to go on. Totally get that. Understand it's important. I won't go through the whole script with you, but the closing key of it was, I will call the other agents and this is what I'll tell them. They really enjoyed talking to you and they were looking forward to meeting with you, but I convinced them to list with me. And of course, if you have a buyer, I'm going to share my commission with you and I'd love to work with you. So Gene and I would make that call to each other when we beat each other. We'd follow the script, we use it, and it would cause both of us to laugh. And then we would debrief on where we won. I can't tell you how much I learned from that man. And I'm optimistic that the return was the same. We competed and the outcome, okay, it mattered a little because I loved beating Gene and he loved beating me. And yet we still maintained an amazing attitude and energy about it because we were great competitors. So imagine that's how you were in your market with everybody. Like, I love looking at properties. We've been all over Houston looking for ourselves, attempting to get some in every property. We'll look at 30, 40 properties in a day, Marcy and I, we're those clients. And I'll call every agent and give them feedback because we're competitors in the same market, yet they need to know what's going on. And the follow-up question on that, after I beat the crap out of them and beat the crap out of their property, would you like me to put this in writing for you so you have it to present to your seller to adjust things to be better positioned in the marketplace? 9 times out of 10, the answer is yes. So now I get to compose an email, send it to them, and help them. That's real competition. April, oh, I thought I saw you on. Christy, I'm coming to you first. Though I'd love to see you, Christy, not just hear you.
That's because I'm working in another place today.
Fair enough.
So
Well, what do you have?
I can show you real quick.
No, it's fine. Just tell us.
If I can, I don't know how to turn it on. Here you go. See, ta-da. Okay, bye. Okay. What I pulled out of the content was page, when it came to page 54 and 55, it's kind of some of what other people had touched on already, but there's the, like, learning to be unconditional about your love and stuff like that, like you were when you were a kid. I think society today and our upbringing has a lot to make us feel like we can only love conditionally. And it's a little bit different usually with your children or something like that, but when it comes to other people, you get stuck in loving conditionally, and you get stuck in that fear and anxiety state, and that's your normal. At least that's my truth. That's my normal. So the thought of being free from all of that is almost terrifying if you dig deep down and you kind of think about it. So I like the way that it's just kind of breaking it down, and you know, the belief, the focus, and the freedom. For me, the freedom is being able to learn to be unconditional and free of that fear. That's going to be my freedom. That's what I took from it. So
Yeah, and
um,
it's pushing through that, Christy. It's not,
exactly.
fear is never overcome. You're now just facing your fear and still being you and doing the right thing in your heart. And let's go to this normal thing, because you're normal. And you've told me
Yeah.
normal. A lot of people strive to be normal. So here's my question for you, Christy. How many people living a big life, or have historically lived a big life, or have made significance, left a dent in the world of the universe, would you label as normal?
Nobody. But you
You
get stuck
have to
in
get
that feeling.
normal. Yeah. You got to
Yeah.
get out of the middle of the bell curve where normal lives and push yourself to that extreme where you're uncomfortable doing things that aren't normal to have unnormal results.
Right.
The normal
Right.
results right now in the real estate industry are like 1 deal, 2 deals a year. Time for you guys to do different. So, Glenna, you're up, my dear.
Oh, that was a while back when you guys were talking about what we shouldn't be saying to ourselves. And I was like, were you guys listening to my conversation this morning? When I was beating myself up early this morning, like about 6 o'clock this morning,
Yeah.
because things are slow and I'm like, what's going on? I've been one of the small ones that get all these referrals and everybody's ready to go. But these past 2 years, last year and this year. Anyway.
So if you're running slow, if you're not getting the results, I recommend you start getting into conversations, and more importantly, you track them. By the way, I'll give you an example here. That's how I track them, little tick marks. And if you're having 25 conversations a day, yeah, in an 8-hour day, that's 3 an hour. Because if you don't have any appointments, all you have to do in your day is have conversations. So if you don't have any appointments scheduled today, you have the rest of the day to just grind away having conversations. If it's not the phone's not your thing, then go out in public and start meeting strangers. I always love, I'll go door knocking. No, that's not a Monday through Thursday activity where you get exercise and don't talk to people because nobody's home. I've had clients, okay, I'll door knock, Russ, because they know nobody's going to be home. This is about facing those fears, having conversations with people you don't know and the people you do know, to start turning over the rocks to find the transactions. As we talked last week in Chicago, where somebody in this room was saying there's no business anywhere, there were over 3,000 pending transactions in that MLS in 1 week. Every one of those transactions happened with 2 real estate agents. There's over 6,000 agents that put something in the pending to get paid.
Yep.
All they were the ones that just stepped in the way of a transaction. They went out and turned over rocks, looked for the bouncing balls, found the places of change in people's life, and unearthed the transaction. That's all you guys are doing, man. You're miners. Go find them. Justin, you're up.
Good morning. So I've got something that from the Darling in the Twilight. If you skip to the end of that paragraph, why would anybody purposely risk death? It seems there are 3 possible reasons someone may do so: for a purpose beyond self, the individual, some bigger cause, call it your big why, or to save or help others. To feel alive in a way that can be expressed only when the risk is high enough, perhaps close to death, where it requires full concentration to be fully present. Or the third one, lack of concern for oneself. the second one of those really really resonates with me. The where it takes your full attention or to be fully present for your own safety. And I think in the absence of that, we're coached away from that in this life. You know, don't do crazy stuff, wear a helmet, wear your seatbelt, or financially it can be steered away from that. I think there's something to like flirting with disaster too. That you know that it's not a physical death, but like a financial death. If we put ourselves in bad shape, so that we have to fix it, I think that can scratch that same itch. I think that's something that I've done over and again, and probably not serving me. But that was something that I really, really pulled away from this. And a couple other things I would say. Um, we just heard about normal. Um, one of my late friends told me that the normal people are the ones you just don't really know yet. And Tom and Tom mentioned the 40 days in the desert. Carrie was talking about being unoffendable. And I was thinking just like the timing of it. And well, I'm not Catholic. I like to play ball with some of their things. So with Lent coming up, you know, that's kind of like very big coincidence, 40 days. And I was thinking, what would it look like if I was to give up being offendable or self-sabotage or both? Might be a couple other things, but just kind of a game I'm playing with myself. And yeah, that's what
I
got.
love that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
that's
well
that,
thinking,
that's heavy.
yeah, we are. Hold on, Clint. I'll come back to you. We are going into Lent at some point here, where a lot of people give up something, and maybe it is a mindset piece because we always talk about giving up a tangible. I'm going to give up chocolate. I'm going to give up alcohol. I love your thinking, Justin. Of I'm going to give up being offended. I'm going to focus on that piece, and no matter what I read, no matter what someone says, I'm going to give up being offended. That'd be a huge game changer. Client brother, I've seen your mics on. What do you got?
So in regards to that 40-day piece, I was actually reading a book. There is a um, scientific, spiritual, physical aspect to that 40-day period. They say at that point, your physical body actually changes. Um, Even if you look at fasting and prayer, there is a 40-day pinpoint at doing it at that time where that changes. So there's a lot to that. That's maybe something we could look at another day. But I particularly wanted to speak to, let's see if I can get it right. Justin, you spoke about um, the fear factor. Oh man, it was just, I got to bring it back, but I'm not sure if I remember. But it was in regards to being able to have that fear and do it anyway. Um, that aspect of doing that is really where true greatness comes in. Um, if you're not scared, you're not doing it right. It sounds weird to say it, but that's kind of the truth. If we're not moving if we're not moving through fear, we're not doing it right. It just means we're just muddling along. Just
And
my
I would
take.
even add to that, client, if we're not in fear, we're not growing. Because let's just take conversations, for example. We get doing it on a regular basis. There's going to be a day we realize, okay, we're calling our database. We're not scared anymore. We're just having the conversations. They're part of life. So what are we going to bolt on now to take us to the next level? Growth happens in discomfort and fear. Tom, I've seen your mic hot.
Yes, sir. So, a couple of reminders. We are just kind of a discovery thing. I've been saying lately that progress, not perfection, but I keep coming back to the term mastery, and I think we tend to think of mastery in terms of, oh, he's a master plumber, he knows it all, or he's a master whatever, and he knows everything. But on page 62, middle paragraph, the pursuit of self mastery is the pursuit of mastering your ego so you can be your true self. It's doing the things that you say you want to do and just experiencing them. And then on page 63, at the top, if you devote your life to a purpose beyond yourself and commit to raising the level of excellence in your life in order to raise it in others, you'll gain fullness of life. And that's something that really appeals to me, because one of my favorite things to do is to speak, especially to a live audience, and watch them come alive with something that maybe is just developing within me now. For example, living on purpose or living off purpose.
So let's play with that a little, Tom, because it is about doing something beyond you. And so I'm going to just come back to my mission statement, because, you know, as many of you know, for years and years, it was all about the kiddos, man. They're all doing amazing things. So May of last year, as I was rewriting, my mission statement is to have every single agent who enters my universe be financially, time, and location free within 5 years. Now, does it happen for everyone? No. Those that lean in, those that plug in, those that take advantage of my mission statement, man, they're filling my calendar. We're talking every week, 2-3 times, sometimes 5 days a week, aren't we, Sarah? Because there's someone new that's taking me up on it. She knows.
And part of what you said is your goal is to have that effect on them. And the disconnect really is that some of them need to plug in. And so you don't have any control over them, but it's still your mission to get them. Yeah.
You're going to have on your mission, if it's extreme enough, a large preponderance of the folks you want to love on not there. How many organizations? This will be a fun one for Kelly. Kelly and I, by the way, you'll see Kelly McKinney, Texas. Kelly Rudiger has known me since I was like 23. We used to be in the political world together in California. How many organizations in California are dedicated to eradicating homelessness? That's their mission statement. And they know going in, it's never going to be done. Yet they're going to keep loving on people and helping them and serving them. And that's where the passion is. They're not, oh, damn it, I failed. Someone else is on the street. The end result isn't the measurable. It's what they're doing in the process that's really their measurable. So gosh darn it, man. I want you guys to get into that piece. I hear a roadie mic hot. So, I hear a roadie mic off. Okay, perfect.
No, that was me. I was just saying. So then, why do we focus so much on the goal? The world is banging us over the head to focus on the goal. We're not making it if we don't make it. But yet, we're told.
You've asked a question. Let me give you the quick why. Because that's what our society has drilled into you since you were in kindergarten. You took a 10-question test, your first one in kindergarten, and you missed one. The teacher didn't put happy faces and smiles against all the things you did right. There was a big red check against what you did wrong. You're bad. It's what has been drilled into us, and now we get to work through this content in this room on reprogramming and changing what's going on between the ears so we can have incredible success. That's the goal, to get you guys financially, time, and location free.